Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going deep on some Buddhist principles. 10 of them, to be exact.
Intentional inner peace.
Yeah. Supposedly, they lead to unshakable inner peace, according to our source material.
Unshakable.
Which, sounds a bit like a tall order, right?
Yeah, a little out there, maybe.
But hey, it's intriguing, right?
Mm-hmm.
10 Buddhist principles.
Yeah.
So that nothing can affect you.
Right. I think maybe unshakable is aiming a little high.
Yeah, maybe.
But they do offer a really good framework, I think, at least for building resilience.
Yeah.
And learning to navigate all the craziness of life with a bit more grace,
So less about being, totally immune to negativity and more about, weathering the storm.
Exactly. More about the inner calm.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah. So we'll be unpacking each one, seeing what we can learn.
Sounds good. Let's jump right in, shall we?
Let's do it.
First one up is all about the power of words.
Okay.
And the article uses this, vivid image of words being like arrows. They can only hurt you if you're, standing right in their path.
Interesting.
Oh,
Yeah, I like that. I think it's interesting how that highlights that element of choice,
Mm-hmm.
We often feel kind of powerless when it comes to, criticism or insults.
Oh, yeah.
But we actually always have a choice
Yeah.
in how we react.
Right. It's like that saying, what is it? Sticks and stones may break my bones,
Right.
but words will never hurt me.
Yeah, but taken to a whole other level.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of a deeper level, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it reminds me of that Buddha quote, holding on to anger
Yeah.
is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Right.
Right.
You're the one who ends up suffering.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a good reminder that negativity, holding on to that, it harms us more than anyone else, really.
It really does.
Yeah. It encourages us to kind of look at our reactions to criticism.
Mm.
Do we just internalize it immediately?
Yeah.
Every negative thing.
Yeah.
Can we learn to just let it go, let it pass through us?
Without taking it personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of getting caught up in that storm of negativity,
Right.
we can kind of find that safe space within ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Buddhist philosophy really emphasizes the impermanence of everything,
Right.
including our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
They come, they go, they change.
Yeah.
Learning to not get so hooked by those is key
It is. Yeah.
to finding that inner peace.
And that's where mindfulness comes in, right?
Absolutely. Mindfulness is huge.
Yeah.
It's this idea of being able to observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment.
Without judgment. Yeah.
Yeah. And practices like meditation can be so helpful for that.
Yeah.
For cultivating that detachment from the roller coaster of emotions.
Makes sense.
Oh.
Are there any specific practices that you find particularly helpful?
Oh, yeah. There's one called Tonglen. You visualize, you actually take in other people's suffering
Wow.
and send out compassion.
It's a way to kind of transform negativity into something positive.
So it's kind of instead of getting hooked,
Right.
you're kind of transforming it
Exactly. You're transmuting it.
into something else.
Yeah.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
Yeah. It's pretty powerful.
That's really interesting. So mindfulness, things like Tonglen, and that can help us maintain that inner peace even when we're faced with, difficult words.
Yeah. And it is a practice. It's not a quick fix.
Right.
But with consistent effort, we can kind of shift those habitual reactions and create more space for peace.
I like that. Okay, on to principle number 2.
Okay, number 2.
This one suggests that everyone we encounter, even the most challenging people,
Oh, yeah.
can be our teacher.
Our teacher, yeah, it's a radical thought, isn't it?
It is. It is.
But it's, in Buddhism, there's this belief in interconnectedness.
Okay.
And it's kind of like the Buddha said, when watching after yourself,
Okay.
you watch after others. When watching after others, you watch after yourself. That's beautiful. I struggle with this one, I have to admit.
Oh, yeah.
There are some people like, this person. How can someone who's constantly negative or hurtful, be my teacher?
That's a good question. And it's not about condoning any harmful behavior, right?
Okay.
But what if, just consider this.
Okay.
What if those difficult people are actually kind of showing us parts of ourselves that we haven't fully dealt with or addressed,
Oh, interesting.
our shadow side.
So if I'm constantly getting annoyed by someone's impatience,
Right.
maybe it's a sign that I need to cultivate more patience.
Exactly. It's an invitation to look inward,
Yeah.
to ask yourself, what lesson is this person here to teach me?
Wow.
Maybe they're triggering some deep insecurity.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe they're challenging you to set better boundaries.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Oh, that's really fascinating. So instead of judging people or labeling them,
Right.
we can try to see them as like mirrors, reflecting
Yeah,
back.
and it's inspiring.
Exactly. Shifting from judgment to curiosity,
Yeah.
compassion, even.
Good point.
And, even the Buddha experienced anger and frustration.
Really?
And doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't achieve enlightenment by, ignoring those emotions.
Okay.
But by understanding them, working with them,
Interesting.
and then ultimately transcending them.
That makes me feel a little bit better.
I know, right?
We're all human, right?
Yeah, we all got stuff to work on.
Speaking of stuff to work on, principle number 3 dives into something I think most of us experience. Envy.
Envy.
Yeah.
That green-eyed monster, it loves to compare us to others,
Yeah.
right? And make us feel inadequate.
And I think, social media has just amplified that,
Oh, for sure.
It's like everyone's life looks so perfect online.
Absolutely, yeah. There's this constant comparison game.
It is.
But the Buddhist view on envy is actually kind of refreshing, I think.
Okay.
It's not about, suppressing those feelings.
Oh, but it's about transforming them.
Transforming envy. Okay, so not pushing it down, but what? Shifting it.
Yeah, shifting it. It's like the Buddha said, do not be jealous of others' good qualities, but out of admiration, adopt them yourself.
Ooh, I like that. Okay,
Yeah.
so instead of letting envy eat away at us,
Right?
we can kind of use it as fuel.
Exactly.
Mhm.
As motivation.
Ooh, I like it.
Instead of resenting someone's success,
Right.
we can actually look at it as inspiration.
Inspiration. Okay.
What skills do they have that we admire? What choices did they make to get there?
Yeah. So it's okay, let's say I'm feeling envious of
Yeah.
a friend who just got a promotion.
Yeah.
Instead of feeling bad for myself, I could ask myself, what can I learn from their success?
Exactly. And then you can use those observations to kind of cultivate similar qualities in yourself.
That's a really good point.
Take action, get motivated.
I love that. Flipping the script on envy.
It's pretty cool.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, that's what I love about these principles. They're very practical,
They are.
and they can really help us to shift our perspective.
Speaking of perspective shifts,
Okay.
principle number 4
4.
is all about finding that balance
Okay.
between having high standards for ourselves
Okay.
and being tolerant of others.
It's a dance, isn't it? A balance.
It is.
Yeah, we want to, push ourselves, be our best,
Yeah.
but also, recognize that everybody is on their own journey,
Everyone's at a different stage.
Exactly. And, the Buddha said, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So it's treat yourself with that same kindness
Right.
you would offer to others.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, so high standards for ourselves without judging others
Without judging others.
for their perceived shortcomings.
Oh, that's good. It reminds me of that saying, be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle.
That's so true. You never really know what other people are going through.
You don't.
Yeah. So empathy and understanding.
That's key.
Yeah. It creates space for self-improvement, but also acceptance of others.
I love that.
Yeah.
This one's really hitting home for me
Oh, yeah.
because I'm super hard on myself,
Yeah.
but I also get frustrated when other people don't meet my expectations.
Right.
So this is a good reminder for me to practice more self-compassion
Yeah.
and then extend that outwards.
Exactly. It's a practice.
It is.
But it can lead to so much more peace
It can.
within ourselves and in our relationships.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, deep divers.
Deep diver.
Get ready for this next one
Okay.
because it's a bit of a head scratcher.
Head scratcher. Oh, boy.
Principle number 5. You choose your suffering.
Interesting.
It seems a bit counterintuitive, right?
It does, yeah.
Is it saying we're responsible for all our pain?
I don't think it's quite like that. The Buddha said, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path.
Okay.
This principle is more about acknowledging that while difficult experiences are going to happen,
Yeah.
they're inevitable, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's our reactions to those experiences that kind of determine how intense the suffering is,
Okay.
how long it lasts.
So it's not like blaming ourselves
No.
for our pain,
Right.
but more about recognizing we have a choice.
You got it. It's the choice.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. And it ties into this Buddhist idea of attachment as the root of suffering.
Detachment.
Yeah, like when we hold on really tightly to things, possessions, relationships, even our ideas about who we are.
Okay.
That sets us up for disappointment and pain.
Because those things are going to change.
They're going to change, yeah. Everything changes.
Right.
It's impermanent.
So the more attached we are to things staying the same,
right, yeah,
the more we're going to suffer.
Exactly. Can
you give us an example of what that might look like?
Sure, yeah. Imagine someone who's like really attached to their job title.
Okay.
They identify with it. They get their sense of worth from it.
Okay.
And then, all of a sudden they get laid off.
Oh, yeah.
If you're like super attached to that title,
right,
that's going to be super painful.
Yeah, that would be rough.
You might feel lost, worthless, angry.
Yeah.
But if you have like a less rigid view of yourself, your career.
Yeah, more fluid.
Yeah, the experience might not be as devastating.
Right. You'd still feel sad, probably.
Yeah, you might feel sadness, disappointment.
Disappointment.
But you wouldn't like spiral. You'd be able to see it as an opportunity,
Mm-hmm. Like that saying, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional.
Yes. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So by understanding attachment and practicing non-attachment, we can kind of reduce our suffering. And handle all the stuff that life throws at us with more grace and resilience.
I like it.
Yeah. It's pretty powerful stuff.
Okay, deep divers, we're halfway through. Exploring these 10 principles. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling a sense of calm already.
Me too. I love this stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing how, these ancient principles are still so relevant today.
They really are. So much wisdom.
And there's more to come.
So
much more to uncover.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be back after a short break.
Okay.
To delve into those remaining principles and see what other gems we can unearth.
Can't wait.
Welcome back, everyone. Ready to jump back into these Buddhist principles?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so we left off talking about non-attachment and how it can help lessen our suffering.
Right.
And principle number 6 kind of takes that concept a step further.
Okay.
It says, acceptance is liberation.
Ooh, acceptance is liberation. I like that.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the serenity prayer,
Oh, yeah.
Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change.
Right.
The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
I love that prayer.
It's a good one.
It is. And yeah, this principle is kind of highlighting that wisdom in surrendering to what is, rather than resisting reality.
Okay.
Like the Buddha said, accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be.
So instead of fighting against the current,
right,
we can learn to flow with it.
Exactly. Because resistance creates tension.
Yeah.
And it creates suffering.
It does.
Acceptance, though, that brings ease and liberation.
Okay.
It's important to note, though, that acceptance isn't about being passive
right,
or giving up. Okay. It's about seeing things clearly, acknowledging the reality of the situation, and then choosing how you want to respond.
Choosing wisely, yeah.
Wisely.
So not letting things just happen to us.
Right.
But recognizing what's within our control.
Exactly.
And what's not.
Yeah. You can't control external events, but you can control your reactions.
That's a good point.
It's imagine there's a huge storm raging outside.
Okay.
You can't stop the wind or the rain.
Right.
But you can choose to find shelter. Yeah. You can wait it out.
Right.
Focus on what you can control in that moment.
Okay. Yeah. So it's an active choice, not just
It is, yeah.
Giving.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Any tips on how we can cultivate this kind of acceptance?
Mindfulness is a big one.
Okay, mindfulness.
Yeah, because when you practice mindfulness, you learn to observe your thoughts and your feelings without judgment.
Right.
And that allows you to create space
okay.
between you and your reactions.
So you don't just immediately react.
Exactly. You can hit the pause button.
Yeah.
And then you have the freedom to choose a more skillful response.
A more skillful response.
One that's not just coming from fear or anger.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
It's notice I do that sometimes. Just kind of.
Oh, yeah, we all do.
Reacting without thinking.
Yeah, it's human.
It is. This principle is really speaking to me.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because I realize clinging to my desired outcomes.
Yeah.
Instead of accepting what is.
Right.
It just leads to frustration.
Totally.
Disappointment.
It's exhausting.
It is. So it's kind of freeing to think that I can choose a different path.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
One of peace.
It is. It's about finding that peace amidst the craziness.
Yes, that's it. Oh, and speaking of finding peace, this next principle brings us to the wisdom of nature.
Ah, nature.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
even just thinking about being out in nature, the fresh air, like the sounds of birds,
Oh, I love it.
sunshine on my skin.
Yeah.
It just brings me like this sense of calm.
It's instant relaxation almost.
It is.
The Buddha, he really recognized that connection between nature and well-being. He said, just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, nature provides that connection,
Yeah.
to something bigger than themselves,
Yeah.
a source of peace.
It's like coming home.
It is, yeah.
But, I think it's so easy to forget about that in our modern world,
Oh, for sure.
We're so busy, we're always indoors.
Yeah, glued to our screen.
Glued to our screens, yeah.
But even small things can make a difference,
Okay.
Like taking a walk in the park,
Yeah.
tending a garden,
Right.
or even just pausing to appreciate a tree outside your window.
Okay, yeah.
Those simple things can nourish our souls.
They can.
Reconnect us with those natural rhythms of life.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired to schedule in some more nature time.
Me too.
What about you? How do you, connect with nature?
For me, it's early morning walks in the woods.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that stillness, the fresh air,
Mm-hmm.
it just helps me to kind of clear my head
Yeah.
and start the day grounded and peaceful.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, sometimes I even do walking meditation, bringing awareness to each step, each breath, each sound.
It sounds really peaceful.
It is. It's a beautiful practice.
I'm going to have to join you sometime.
You should, yeah.
Okay, so moving on
Okay.
to principle number 8.
8.
This one's all about ethical living.
Ethical living, okay?
Yeah.
This principle emphasizes the connection between our actions and our inner peace.
Mm-hmm.
The Buddha said, what you think, you become.
Ooh, yeah.
So right action, right speech, right livelihood, it's all important for a peaceful life.
It makes sense, when we act in alignment with our values,
Yeah,
we feel good about ourselves.
exactly.
And that contributes to our peace.
Yeah, and when we don't, it creates inner turmoil.
It does.
Yeah. So it's about living with integrity, being true to ourselves, treating others with kindness and compassion.
So, how can we apply that in our daily lives?
Oh, in so many ways.
Yeah.
Like being honest, even when it's hard.
Right.
Being kind to people who are struggling, even when you're stressed. Choosing a career path that aligns with your values.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about being perfect. It's about making conscious choices
Right.
that are good for you and others.
I like that. Less about rules and more about
Yeah.
a mindset,
Mindset, yeah.
compassion, integrity.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you ready for principle number 9?
Bring it on.
This one focuses on the power of gratitude.
Gratitude. The Buddha said, let us rise up and be thankful, for if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little.
Oh, I like that one.
It's a good one. Gratitude is like a superpower,
It is.
When we shift our focus from what we lacked, what we have,
Yeah.
it's like we open ourselves up to this whole world of abundance and joy.
It's like that saying, gratitude turns what we have into enough.
Yes, exactly. And there's always something to be grateful for,
There is.
no matter what's going on.
It's easy to forget that.
It is. That's where it's good to have a practice.
Okay, so what? What kind of practice?
Like a gratitude journal. Write down a few things every day that you're grateful for.
I've tried that before.
Yeah.
It does make a difference.
It does, right.
It's like retraining your brain
Totally.
to focus on the positive.
Yeah. And the more you do it, the more content you feel.
It's true.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And that brings us to our last principle.
Okay, the grand finale.
Letting go is freedom.
Ooh, this one feels really fitting after everything we've talked about.
It does, doesn't it? It's like the culmination of it all.
It is.
This principle reminds us that holding on too tightly to possessions, to outcomes, to our ideas about how things should be,
Yeah.
that's a recipe for suffering.
Makes sense.
The Buddha said, you only lose what you cling to.
Oh, wow.
So letting go is about releasing that grip
Okay.
and finding freedom and ease.
Freedom and ease. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like imagine holding sand in your fist.
Okay.
The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away.
Right.
But if you open your hand,
Yeah.
it stays.
Ooh, that's a good analogy.
It is, right. It shows that paradox of letting go.
Yeah.
When we let go of control, we actually create more space for things to come to us.
Okay, that's a good point. So
Yeah.
how do we, actually learn to let go?
It's a process.
Yeah.
It takes honesty.
Yeah.
And asking yourself some tough questions.
Like what kind of questions?
Like, what are you afraid to let go of?
Yeah, okay.
What are you holding on to that's no longer serving you? And, what would it feel like to finally release that grip?
Wow, those are some deep questions.
They are.
Yeah, I like that. It feels like a good segue into our final part.
Okay.
Where we'll, reflect on everything.
Yeah, tie it all together.
Yeah, and explore how we can, integrate these principles into our lives.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive. 10 Buddhist principles. Unshakable inner peace.
Quite a journey, right?
It has been. It has been.
Negativity, acceptance, nature, gratitude, letting go.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
A lot to unpack.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty zen right now.
Me too.
Just thinking about all this wisdom.
It's important to remember, though, that these principles aren't just ideas.
Right. Not just something to think about.
Yeah, it's not about memorizing a list of rules or anything.
It's about putting them into practice.
Exactly. Showing up every day, making conscious choices.
Yeah. Aligning with those principles.
Exactly.
So it's not about becoming, totally untouchable, right?
No.
By negativity.
It's more about consistently cultivating that inner peace.
Okay. Yeah.
Through our actions, our words, our thoughts, even.
So true. And like any skill, it takes practice, right?
Absolutely. It's a practice.
Some days will be easier than others.
For sure.
There will be times when we mess up,
Oh, yeah. We'll fall back into old habits.
Right, like reacting with anger or clinging to what we want, judging.
It happens.
It does. But the key is to notice those moments.
Yeah, without judgment.
Yeah, without judgment.
And just gently guide yourself back.
Back to those principles.
Yeah. It's like having a set of tools,
Okay, it's like that.
to help us navigate all the ups and downs.
The ups and downs of life, yeah.
And the more we use them, the more skillful we become.
Right. At creating that peace and well-being.
Exactly. It's a lifelong journey.
So, as we wrap up, what's one key takeaway you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Ooh, good question. Well, the Buddha taught that true strength comes not from controlling what's happening around us,
Okay.
but from mastering our own minds.
Right.
So I would encourage everyone listening to ask themselves,
Okay, hit us with that question.
how can you cultivate that inner strength today?
Ooh, I like it. How can you cultivate that inner strength today? Maybe it's responding to a challenging situation with patience.
Right. Patience, compassion.
Maybe taking some time to connect with nature.
Ooh, nature, yes.
Appreciate the beauty around us.
Or practicing gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude for those simple things.
We're letting go of something that's been weighing you down.
Letting go, that's a big one.
It is.
Well, whatever it is for you, I hope this deep dive has given you some tools and insights
You too.
to help you cultivate more peace and resilience.
It's been great exploring these principles with you.
Likewise. And thank you all for joining us on this deep dive. We'd love to hear your thoughts, what resonated with you, how you plan to put these principles into practice. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.